Live in Jeddah for us, our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol. Kaveh, good evening again. How have the Premier League clubs reacted to all of this?
Well, the Premier League clubs have come out and said that we are not interested in joining a European Super League, even though 6 of them 2.5 years ago were very interested in joining a European Super League. Just in the last few minutes, we've had statements from clubs like Manchester City, Spurs and also Chelsea now, and the statements are very similar. What they basically say is that we are committed to playing in UEFA competitions, we are committed to working closely with the European Club Association, and also our position has not changed. We've also heard from Manchester United earlier today. They said exactly the same thing. Their position hasn't changed. They are committed to playing in UEFA competitions and the ECA. And we also heard from the Premier League. The Premier League said it was a significant verdict in Luxembourg today, but their position hasn't changed. They are totally opposed to the setting up of any breakaway leagues. I think what's interesting is that basically what's happened today in Luxembourg is that these 15 judges have come out and said to clubs across Europe, if you want to create a European Super League, you can go away and try and create a European Super League. The problem is, there are no clubs really who want to set up a European Super League at the moment, except the clubs behind A22 Sport, who are Real Madrid and Barcelona, and used to be Juventus as well before they dropped out. I know A22 Sport are celebrating today. Of course, this is a significant victory for them, but until they can get clubs on board, their project is really not going anywhere. And even when they do get clubs on board, there'll still be some very significant hurdles for them to clear, not least the strong feeling of fans all across Europe before their crazy dream to set up this European Super League that people have been trying to set up for 30, 40, 50 years comes to fruition.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We're back again. There's a reaction video as we are talking about the Super League. So as you can hear from Kavi, it looks like the clubs who are really running with this motion of the Super League are the guys that are in this at A8, something that they're talking about, as they try to come up with this Super League, which they will monopolize the money. They want to hold the money. They want to have control. We all know why clubs like Barcelona are doing these things. Barcelona are in a financial turmoil, and the Super League, their way out of this crazy thing that they're in. So that has to be an interesting one to see what's happening there, because as much as the the judges have reached a verdict and said that the Super League is allowed to continue, you can do whatever you want to, nobody can stand on your way. FIFA and Euro and this one don't have power over these things. The interesting part is this: most of the clubs don't want to do so because they saw how not only the other people reacted, but how their own fan bases of the clubs they are owning, in terms of the owners, the way they reacted. So they are afraid of going through that again. They are afraid of having teams that will come out and actually try to fight, because the Super League is coming out in relation to replace the Champions League, which means that so many people's dreams that grew up watching the Champions League, hoping that their teams will ever win it, will do something, that is a dream that dies. That literally dies, because now we are in this Super League, which is being owned by the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid, and they're going to try to run it the way they do. So in other words, it looks like the likes of Jude Bellingham and stuff, they won't be able to do anything because they are not in the Champions League. It means the players who have their hopes of winning things like the Ballon d'Or won't be able to do so, because if you hear that the leagues of the people and other people are standing with the Champions League, it means that eliminates the Super League or whatever they're doing. Because what's happening is this Real Madrid, my own president, just wants to have the power to control everything in his own hands, and Barcelona are just jumping into it because they're in a turmoil and they want to be safe financially, because we are already hearing that they are saying that they will sign Kylian Mbappe if they manage to sort that Super League issue up straightforward. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, but in terms of how it's looking like right now, it was a success in the court level, but it looks like it's now it's now failing to become a success in actually attracting the clubs to come in being in the Super League. That has to be something that we'll keep an eye on. Let's hear what he has to say as we continue.
Yeah, but hold on, Carve. All these clubs scrambling over themselves to say, no, we don't want any part of this. I want to take you to golf, Live Golf. John Rahm, I'm not playing in Live Golf. He's just signed for gazillions of pounds. Any chance the Saudis could get involved and back a European Super League?
Well, I've been asking the question here in Jeddah. The people I've been speaking to have been saying to me at the moment there is very little chance that Saudi Arabia would provide the financing for the setting up of a breakaway European Super League. They say to me, the Saudis at the moment, we're very interested in developing our own Saudi Pro League. We're very interested in developing women's sport here, setting up a women's national team, which they've done, setting up a women's Premier League, which they've done. And they will also say that our focus really long term is on the World Cup here in 2034. And reading between the lines, Mike, Saudi Arabia at the moment is very, very close to FIFA. There's been the FIFA Club World Cup is being held here. The World Cup is going to be here. There was a FIFA Football Summit here today. There was a FIFA Council meeting a few days ago. I don't think the Saudi Arabians will want to do anything to antagonise or upset or rock the boat when it comes to their relationship with FIFA. But make no mistake, there are people out there who will want to finance the setting up of a European Super League because, unfortunately, modern day football is all about money. It's a business. There are lots of people out there trying to make money out of football, trying to exploit any angle that they can. And I'm sure there are going to be lots of meetings in hotels, behind closed doors, schemes, plots, trying to get clubs on board. But today, what the clubs are saying, basically pretty much united, apart from clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona, is our position has not changed. We are not interested in joining this breakaway. But the question I've got is, will money finally talk? I think what has happened today is that this verdict is significant because if it had gone the other way, then this dream of a European Super League would have died once and for all. But A22 Sport and the European Super League company have won this significant verdict, which means they live to fight another day. And I think FIFA and UEFA are worried. They feel that they've lost an important battle, but I think they're quietly confident that in the end, they will win the war.
Interesting one, because of course you'd expect that the Arabians will be all over this, trying to have this breakaway league so that they can by all means try by all means to get as much as they can. They put on the money and stuff like that, but because they're trying by all means to work so strong with FIFA to do something, to host the World Cup and stuff, they wouldn't want to even by any means try to test or even to lose the relationship that they have with FIFA. They want to protect that because I think a relationship for them with these football organizations, it's always very, very important in the long run. But I don't think that they will do anything crazy to try to tarnish the relationship that they have with FIFA, especially if they want to host the 2034 league. Like you're saying, it's going to be exciting to see. But also remember, like we're talking here, it's money versus football. That's all this thing is all about. And sometimes you might find that the AH and whatever, the Real Madrid and Barcelona might win at the end of the day. But now we have to see if football will speak, if the fans will be given a voice, and what will happen. At the moment, it looks like the voice is still in the Fed side because so many big clubs are coming out and they are refusing to join up this breakaway league because they want to stand with the fans. They want to give the fans something. And, you know, they already have people who are angry with them because of going against them the first time. So do you think that they want to do something to tarnish that? This one's, I'm talking about the Premier League teams here. But let's see. if Saudi Arabia joins in they pour up their money, now that's where the problem is. But Saudi Arabia at this moment needs by all means to be with FIFA, to be in FIFA's back. So that's where FIFA and maybe the UEFA Champions League are holding on and actually waiting to see how that one plays out, because they know that if they continue doing what they're doing, they will win this at the end of the day. It's going to be exciting to see how this one plays out. But at this moment, we see that football is still winning, and I hope that this continues. Of course, this one is expected to start in 2020-25. I don't know, is it 2024, 2025 or what? But at this moment, it looks like no one is really jumping into this breakaway league. Of course, there are business tycoon and the really rich people in Saudi Arabia who has nothing to do with the nations or whatever, whatever that happens, who can come in and do this. But at this moment, football is still winning. Let's see how that one plays out as we go forward.
Any European Super League project, if you go back to 2.5 years ago, it needed the might, the power of the Premier League clubs. Those 6 clubs were massive in terms of their global appeal, but their appeal here in Europe. I'm trying to think of an analogy of where A22, Real Madrid, Barcelona are today. And I think with this ECJ ruling, they've been given a nice shiny bus, Mike, but that bus hasn't got an engine. It hasn't got any tyres, it hasn't got any wheels, it hasn't got any fuel, and it hasn't got any seats because there aren't any passengers on board. And in this country, come next year, a law will be written through Parliament, the Football Governance Bill, which includes, as Carver was mentioning earlier, the independent regulator. That independent regulator has the power to stop any football club in England from breaking away from the domestic leagues and joining a breakout like a European Super League. Because supporters, through this, for example, in the UK here, through law, they have a voice and they have some power. And the football politicians realise this, and they've got them on side, got them on board. So I just don't know where anybody is going to get on board the A22 Real Madrid Barcelona bus and join them. I just can't see it happening. And UK law, as far as English clubs go, it ain't happening.
We just heard now from the end. It looks like, I love the way the analogy used, that those guys have been given a shiny and an exciting and an amazing look of a bus. A8 and Real Madrid, whatever the team that the people are going to be working on the Super League, but they don't have the engine, they don't have the brakes, they don't have the tires. So at this moment, before we even talk about the bus taking off, we need to find the engine. If they have the engine, the tires, to get this thing going forward. And we all know that either the engines or the tires, one of those things has to be either some clubs from the Premier League. And in the Premier League as a whole, it looks like nothing like this is happening, because football spoke, the fans came out and they were angry at this, and now look where we are. And I'm hearing that the British government will be coming up with what they call that, like it seems like something that will be standing up. It's like an independent regulator which stops any team that wants to join it, like whatever, this breakaway leagues or what, would force this one to pass judgment, which all the clubs of the Premier League have to agree to, which is going to happen next season. And that just kills any dreams of any Premier League team going to the Super League. Because the purpose of the Super League, let us be honest, the reason why they're putting it live on every social media is because they are hoping, let's face this fact, they are hoping that they can attract eyeballs to this thing, because they know that if this bus is to take off without any Premier League teams, the numbers or the people they're expecting to see from this will be less than they want to. I watch La Liga whenever I'm bored. That's the only thing that I watch. I prefer to go watch Brighton versus Burnley over Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid at La Liga. That tells you where the eyeballs of most of the people in the world. And I'm in Africa, for Christ's sake. How are you going to get me to actually be a person who sits down to watch? Even if you offer it live and free on social media, I would rather pay and go watch the Premier League, because I'll go. So the Premier League is actually an answer to try and fight the Super League is actually an answer from the world to try and fight the Premier League. But at this moment, it's not happening, people. Even though the exciting part is this, even some players in some teams in La Liga are refusing this. So that makes it just even more exciting. So I'm out. Click the like button, subscribe to connect. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section about the Super League. We're out. Peace. Subscribe to the connect.